Let's go!
Somebody pinged me on Twitter and they're like, why is MVCI getting updated? What's going on? And I'm like, wait, what? There's no reason why core game files would be adjusted anyway. There's zero reason. I checked it and all of a sudden it got updated. So let's just talk about really quick the history of the game. Last time MVCI got updated was March, April-ish of 2018. We were sort of looking on that day as like kind of an exciting thing because it was largely understood that MVCI was dead. It's like, oh, this game's cooked, man. Like by January, it seemed cooked. And then a few months later, there was an update and it was like, oh my God, something's happening. Oh my God, something's happening. Do you guys know what that update was? Anybody remember? It was actually the removal of their anti-piracy license for Denuvo. We were thinking that update could have meant that the game would continually get support. In fact, it was a direct sign that it's not because they're removing anti-piracy. We're not even going to pay for the anti-piracy license anymore. It ain't worth it, bro. So at that point, MVCI has been running without Denuvo, which is kind of a frequent thing that happens. If there is a game that is, you know, functioning for a while and is even relatively popular, it usually is taken out. It's like removed. I think this even happened to Monster Hunter World, a game that still has like 10,000 people playing it, you know, every single day. Very weird. This game has not been, I think the term we're using is poked. The files of this game have not been poked since April of 2018. It has been 7 years. The only thing that's been adjusted or poked has been from us with MVCIB, and we don't change anything in the core game registry or the core game files on Steam. It's just us on a third party making adjustments on top of their existing adjustments. The update was 35 gigs. Why is 35 gigs relevant? This game is approximately 60-ish gigs. 35 gigs does not represent the entirety of the game file size. It's like, well, why is it like half the size of the game, the core game? Well, MVCI has a bunch of 4K video files, and they did not have very good compression methods, so they're big, man. Majority of MVCI's file size is 4K video for the story mode, but 35 gigs is the game, not the video files. That's pretty much about approximately the entirety of the core game files. Like everything that makes the game function and work when you play it, not when you watch a video, is about like 30 to 35 gigs. That's what we were working with on our update. That got changed. The entirety of the game got poked. And you can see this stuff is not like we are digging in. This stuff is public information as far as what got poked and changed quite literally a couple hours ago. And on the surface level, this tells a story, but it doesn't tell a full story. The majority of things you will see is that a whole bunch of audio files got changed. And this pretty much, we've already came to a decent conclusion. A lot of this stuff is Thor, and it was an organizational thing. For some reason, somebody chose the arranging assortment of files is going to go to different places. Ultimately speaking, doesn't affect MVCIB very much, but a bigger question is why? That's weird. There are some other theories because the game itself has gone through a lot of other core updates, including, if you pay attention here, the EXE's changed. Some of like the core foundational functionality of the game didn't go through big changes, but they were moved. It's not like, oh, you're getting 35 gigs added to the game. When something gets poked, it usually means that you have to redistribute everything. This is why when you get a Street Fighter 6 update, you're like, oh my God, what's with this 80 gig Street Fighter 6 update? Why is this happening? You know, what is going on? For the most part, it's just the game like re-downloading itself. It's not adding 35 gigs. It's not adding 60 gigs to the game. It is just redistributing the size of the game because you need to re-download the whole game instead of little bits. That's just kind of the way it works. It's not great for bandwidth, but it is just kind of the way it works. There's a few things in here from a surface level that we can pick up on, and obviously this PhysX thing. NVIDIA PhysX third-party libraries got updated. There was some I&I configuration stuff. The game EXEs apparently shrunk, and we still have our entire team looking into what actually happened to the game itself. The pack size went through an adjustment. Don't know why that happened. And there was a bunch of sound assets that were moved around or removed. That's from the surface level. But what happens on like the internals is we still don't know. From a basic standpoint, when you go into MVCI as a game, nothing seems different. It seems like the same exact game. Weirdly enough, Marvel vs. Capcom 3 also got an update on Steam about a year to a year and a half ago. That update was mostly on a Steam backend thing. But as I understand it from the Marvel 3 team, where that was directly affecting some of their mods working on the game at the time, it was easily fixed, and the update itself for MVC3 was pretty small. Like, it was not something dramatic. It wasn't a reason to redistribute the entirety of the game files, which is what happened to MVCI. Again, many questions. There's a long-running theory, and I just liked it. There is a thing that's happening right now where somebody assumes that it could be, and our team is still looking into this, there is an update to NVIDIA for PhysX because the 50 series cards do not support 32-bit physics, and no idea if anything else has changed. But that is coming from this part up here, which possibly, yeah, that could be a thing, that there's some outdated 32-bit functionality that needs to be working in order for it to continually work in the future. However, I have a 5090 card, and MVCI works fine, so I don't know if that's exactly it. There has been other updates to other Capcom games in a similar period of time. For example, Street Fighter Cross Tekken and even Lost Planet 2 got an update. Why did that happen? Simply put, they were running under a PC sort of like, I would say, container called Games for Windows Live, a really ancient thing from like 2008, 2009. To remove Game for Windows Live to get the functionality in those games there. Is what happened to those games anything close to what this MVCI thing is? No, it's not. In fact, if this also was the case, we would have likely seen an update to Street Fighter V as well, because Street Fighter V is also running under an older Unreal Engine. This also depends if Street Fighter V has gotten an update. Another thing, it also depends if MVCI on consoles got an update. And as of right now, it has not. As of right now, MVCI on consoles is the same version last updated March, April 2018. But the likelihood of those updates being pushed over a PlayStation network or an Xbox Live going through certification is not going to be as fast as Steam. Steam will update first. This is also lining up with the time PlayStation and Xbox have the availability to do it. If there is a console update of some kind that is related to this, then, you know, it could happen in a day or two or sometime this week, but we don't know. We don't know if this is specifically an update targeting all versions of MVCI or the Steam version. All I have to say is this game getting an update of this kind, where somebody had to get into MVCI as a game and poke around and fix stuff or make adjustments to things. But the big question in the room, was this a targeted effort to attack Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite and Beyond as a mod? Was this a direct effort from Capcom to circumvent what we did, what has happened over the past like 6-7 months of our game being released in some way? And I can show you when I play MVCI what happens with the mod installed as well as the update. All right, so there we go. Hold. Wait for it. Our mod loader works in the top left, which is integrated. And you can freely load into the game with MVCIB, and the core mod functionality still works. Even with gameplay adjustments and stage mods and everything, if I select Thanos, who has the most obvious adjustments, and I get into a game really quick, just to show you guys, we made adjustments to obviously core gameplay things and the way the game works, so that the game could get a new balance update. That's what happened in the latest MVCI update, and Thanos can still use all of the stones. That's good. That means that the MVCI is intact. The functionality of the mod is here. However, it's not the entirety of the story. For some reason, someone at Capcom, for the first time in 7 years, had made adjustments to MVCI. So the game files got adjusted. That means that some of our exclusive modes, including Cross Frenzy, Online Cross Frenzy, probably 2v2 Cross Frenzy, and Cross Fever, all these different things. These are all of our different unique 2v2 modes and 2v2 multiplayer modes. When you go and select them now, and you click back, it reloads the game. It will essentially inject new data into the game. And what this always has done is it pokes the game and moves around some numbers, right? Those numbers allow you to play the game a different way, to play the game in like a different mode, right? So if I go into like training, for example, our traditional 2v2 mode, let's just go in here and pick it. This is where I can control 2 characters at one time. So we had this working online. You can actually play online with this mode, and it was very fun. I wanted to play it tonight, and unfortunately, that is broken. And there's a good reason why that is broken. This does not seem like a direct targeting thing. The reason that doesn't work is that the game files got poked. So any of the values that we had discovered to make these adjustments, like I would say back in August, September of last year, because MVCI has never changed, we were able to find those values and change them. But they changed now. So because they changed now, it doesn't work. It doesn't mean that it can't not work in the future with an update. Not at all. It means that we just have to find the new values. It isn't a, we are cooked, my dude. It's more that, yeah, like a 1 change to a 2, we have to find out where all that kind of stuff is. In extremely layman's terms, all of the registry values that make those modes happen, which aren't normally allowed to the game, have to be reassigned. The next question is, outside of what has been listed and what changed, what actually changed? Well, nothing with Thor changed, as far as we understand. There's a lot of Thor files that got moved around and Thor things got updated, but we don't know. Nobody's really gonna know for a while. In fact, it took the MVC3 team a long time to figure out what actually changed in Marvel 3 with a small update a year and a half ago, and then to eventually find out, oh, it was a Steam backend thing that allowed that game to like still work and function. So the whole team's like looking into it. Everyone's sort of trying to figure out what happened. Why did MVCI just get this update, even if it is related to like a physics thing? That's also something a lot of other fighting games would need, or I'm sorry, a lot of other Capcom games that are made in Unreal Engine would also need. So I would assume that Street Fighter V would also get a similar update of some kind, but it depends. We'd have to go back and like check that out. It's very weird, is all I gotta say. Not for a collection thing, no. This is no insinuation of there being a Marvel vs. Capcom 7, an MVCI 2, an MVCI update, or like anything like that. Is the update going to be for the console versions as well? We're about to find that out in the next few days if the console versions get updated, but I don't know if they will because this game does not have crossplay. The conclusion is that MVCI-B is fine. Some things don't work because the whole game changed, right? The whole game has gone through a shift. So the way things attach to certain things and where those locations are is now different. Our team is going to have to eventually get in there and understand where the new values are to allow this to happen. It is unfortunate because we just released a new online mode of the game that is literally a 2v2 mode where one person controls 2 players like Soulstone, and it's been a massive hit. People are legit super enjoying it. The meta of the game completely changes. It's like a completely different game that plays dramatically different than classic MVCI and is super fun. We're kind of waiting on the MVCI-B dev team to hopefully poke around and get some new values so that we can get our additional modes working. There's also things at Evo that we wanted to do with those modes, and it will be exceedingly difficult, but we don't know. You don't see this happen too often, is all I gotta say.
Don't miss one of the most unique tag team fighting games